they talk all the crazy stuff about me going up and having a tough time, but he went up in weight and lost. That's the difference. I went up weight and won. It's all respect over here, and if, he do decide to come my way and me and him get in the ring, then it'll be an electrifying fight,
Terence Crawford is ready for Canelo Alvarez, and he has just issued the most silent yet groundbreaking warning to Canelo. While he isn't taking any fights till September, the boxing champion has begun training with so much intensity ahead of the fight. Many boxing professionals have mentioned the weight class of Crawford, and as his main disadvantage ahead of the fight, well, the world super welterweight champion just shared a shocking revelation that will begin to send shockwaves down Canelo's fight, making it known to the public that his weight isn't as small as many think. Terence Crawford, renowned for his precision and technical skill, has surprised the boxing world by revealing a significantly higher weight than expected ahead of his highly anticipated fight against Canelo Alvarez.
It won't be like any other fight that he's fought recently, and it'll be a well-fought fight.
The undisputed champion in 2 divisions recently shared on social media that he currently weighs 186 pounds, a revelation that has sparked widespread discussion among boxing fans. Crawford, set to face Canelo Alvarez in September at super middleweight, 168 pounds, has showcased remarkable versatility, having claimed world titles at lightweight, super lightweight, and welterweight. However, jumping up 2 weight classes to challenge a powerhouse like Canelo presents an unprecedented test in his career. His disclosure of his current weight has triggered mixed reactions. Some experts believe the weight gain is a strategic move to match Canelo's physical strength, while others question whether it might compromise Crawford's signature speed and agility, attributes that have been instrumental to his success. Despite the debate, Crawford remains confident. In a video posted on his social media, he declared, "What is up, y'all? I'm looking forward to being undisputed in September. Let's get it. It is work time." As Crawford prepares for his showdown with Canelo, the Mexican superstar is first set to fight William Skull in May.
He went up and lost. So let's not do that, Canelo.
Skull holds the International Boxing Federation super middleweight title, the last piece of the undisputed puzzle that Canelo lost in July after refusing to face him. If Canelo defeats Skull, he will once again unify all 4 belts in the division, setting up an undisputed clash against Crawford. This potential showdown would be one of the most anticipated fights in modern boxing history, featuring 2 of the sport's top pound-for-pound fighters in a battle for ultimate supremacy. A showdown between Crawford and Canelo Alvarez has the potential to reshape the boxing landscape. Both fighters have dominated their respective divisions, and now they stand on a collision course to determine the true pound-for-pound king.
Fight for both of us, I believe.
Any doubt in your mind that you beat him?
Of course I beat him. It ain't no doubt in my mind that I won't beat anybody that I step.
And with Terence Crawford's weight revelation, he's gotten more support from professionals who had earlier sidelined him. Speaking to Fight Hype, Beterbiev gave an insight into what he believes Crawford's chances are of prevailing against Canelo when they face each other. Though many feel that the weight jump could be too much for Bud, the Russian brands it a 50-50th fight. "I'm not really a big fan of boxing, but this fight I will watch. I have a favorite from them, but we'll see. It's an interesting fight, a 50-50th fight." Beterbiev has previously praised Crawford as the pound-for-pound best fighter in the world, so many will assume he is the favorite mentioned.
Ask you about another fight that's being reported to happen between Canelo and Terence Crawford. What do you think of that fight?
I'm not a real fan of boxing, but this fight
Crawford, who has been victorious in all 41 of his professional outings, became a 4-weight world champion last August when he conquered WBA light middleweight champion Israel Madrimov, albeit in a performance that didn't seem to impress as much as his previous efforts. It is no secret that facing Canelo will be the biggest test of the 37-year-old's impressive career, which has seen him claim the undisputed championship at super lightweight as well as welterweight. Canelo captured all 4 titles at super middleweight, with that victory against Plant in 2021, going on to make 4 defenses of his crown, which included wins over Gennady Golovkin and Jermell Charlo.
I'm going to set the trap. He's going to want to counter me. And so I'm going to counter his counter. I don't want to say.
He was stripped of his International Boxing Federation belt last summer after he chose to face Edgar Berlanga instead of William Skull, who was mandatory challenger to the International Boxing Federation title at the time, but will have the chance to earn that belt back when he faces Skull in May ahead of the Crawford bout. As for Beterbiev, he rematches a former Canelo foe in Dimitri Bivol later this month. Jaron Ennis long chased a fight with Terence Crawford, but will now have to watch his rival take on Canelo Alvarez instead. Ennis is a precocious talent and current International Boxing Federation belt holder in the welterweight division. He came of age after Crawford became the undisputed champion at 147 by beating Errol Spence in July 2023.
It's a good fight, 50-50 fight, and I guess it's a fight that everybody wants to see. So, it's a good fight.
With Bud's last fight, a world title victory at 154 pounds over Israel Madrimov, it seems the 37-year-old has left the welterweight division behind for good. Crawford has long targeted a further weight class jump to take on undisputed super middleweight champion Canelo, and finally this past week that fight was locked in for September. Speaking to YSM Sports Media, Ennis can't pick a winner in the fight and gives Crawford as much chance as Canelo of getting his hand raised. It's a good fight, a 50-50 fight, and I guess it's a fight everybody wants to see.
How difficult is it to make that jump from, he only had one fight at 54, so like 147, 154 to 168 pounds.
You said how difficult is it?
Yeah.
He was then asked about the challenge Crawford faces by jumping up in weight. It's going to be a little difficult. He's going to have to put on an extra 14 pounds so he could be slower. You've got to add more weight and gain more muscle, so it's harder, but we'll see on fight night. Next, he was asked what Crawford would need to do on the night to win, having previously explained it would be a difficult night for Bud. Be smart, take his time, box and move. Don't sit there and let him drop bombs on him. Finally, he offered up a game plan for Canelo's route to victory.
I'm pretty sure it's going to be a little difficult because you got to, what are you going to have to put on, like an extra 14 pounds? So he might be a little slower, or who knows, he could be faster. I don't know.
I feel like Canelo will be pressing everything behind the stick, catching him trying to pull out, pull back, cut the ring off, things like that. He is going to have to bully the smaller guy. Don't let him dictate nothing. Show him that's your weight class. Crawford has revealed he is currently well above the 168-pound super middleweight limit and is in fact 186 pounds, despite having previously won titles as low as lightweight and 135 pounds. Keith Thurman, a former welterweight champion, offered a more balanced perspective. While acknowledging Canelo's dominance, Thurman didn't rule out Crawford's chances.
Possible for my boy Crawford, but it's one of those things where he really wants to win against Canelo.
Canelo can be slow at times, and Crawford's speed and footwork could give him trouble. But let's not forget, Canelo is a master at cutting off the ring and landing those body shots, Thurman said. Jaron Ennis, a rising star in the welterweight division, dropped a bombshell when he questioned Crawford's ability to compete at super middleweight. Crawford is a phenomenal fighter, but he's not built for 168 pounds. Canelo is too big, too strong, and too experienced at that weight, Ennis stated.
You're going to need to run uphill. You're going to need to train in high altitude. You're going to need to do every little thing that gives you that,
Elite trainers Teddy Atlas and Freddie Roach also shared their insights. Atlas, known for his analytical approach, expressed skepticism about Crawford's chances. Crawford is one of the most skilled fighters I've ever seen, but this is a bridge too far. Canelo's physicality and experience at this weight class make him the favorite. It's a tough ask for Crawford to jump up 2 divisions and win, Atlas said. Freddie Roach, however, offered a more optimistic view. Crawford's versatility and fighting IQ are second to none. If anyone can figure out a way to beat Canelo at 168, it's him. But he'll need a perfect game plan and flawless execution, Roach noted.
No, he hasn't been back yet, Spence. He may have psychologically, physically ruined him. But he has done everything asked of him, and he's done it.
For Canelo, a win would further solidify his status as one of the greatest boxers of his generation. For Crawford, a victory would cement his legacy as a three-division undisputed champion and arguably the best pound-for-pound fighter of all time. The fight is not just about titles. It's about defining careers and etching names in boxing history. As the countdown to the fight begins, both fighters are expected to undergo rigorous training camps.
In a superb way. It's not that he's just won. I look at how people win. How versatile are they? How mentally together are they? What happens when they're tested? What happens when they have to make an adjustment? I look at all those things. What happens?
Canelo is likely to face International Boxing Federation champion William Skull in May, aiming to regain the undisputed super middleweight crown before his showdown with Crawford. Meanwhile, Crawford, who last fought in August 2024, may opt for a tune-up fight to acclimate to the higher weight class. The Canelo Alvarez versus Terence Crawford bout is more than just a boxing match. It's a spectacle that will captivate fans worldwide.
When they can't depend on power. What else do they have to depend on? I look at everything, their technique, their defense, their offense.
While experts remain divided on the outcome, one thing is certain. This fight will be remembered as a defining moment in boxing history. As Keyshawn Davis gears up for the biggest fight of his career, all eyes are on the rising lightweight prospect. On February 14th, Davis will face Ukrainian Denis Berinchik for the World Boxing Organization lightweight title. This will mark his first ever title bout.
Stop. I'm definitely waiting for that time because as soon as they release, whenever they fight, I'm definitely going to be in camp with them. First of all, I'm going to be in camp with them. I'll probably be fighting.
During his media workout, surrounded by cameras and microphones, the businessman was poised to talk about his upcoming clash. But the conversation quickly took a turn when the topic shifted to another mega fight, Canelo Alvarez versus Terence Crawford, with the 25-year-old also training under Crawford's longtime trainer, Brian Bomac McIntyre. Keyshawn's take on the fight stirred up quite a storm. Standing beside him during the interview was Bernie Davis, also known as Bernie the Boxer. He's a former pro fighter who now trains with the trio. The conversation seemed lighthearted at first. However, Keyshawn's response left fans scratching their heads when asked about the September fight in Las Vegas.
Around the same time, so I just want to know how I'm gonna schedule my things around his stuff because I definitely want to be there supporting my teammate, man, my brother at the end of the day. You know what I'm saying? I definitely.
While at his media workout, Keyshawn Davis was caught off guard when a reporter from Fight Hub TV asked who, in Keyshawn's eyes, would reign supreme in this era, Canelo or Crawford. Without hesitation, Keyshawn replied, "For this generation, he is going to be the greatest. You know what I am saying? It was Floyd Mayweather, then it's going to be Terence Crawford." Keyshawn believes Bud Crawford will be the next face of boxing, following in the footsteps of Floyd Mayweather, who retired in 2017. While Canelo is widely regarded as the current face of the sport, the 25-year-old remains firm in his belief that Crawford is the true successor.
Hopefully they fight out here in Vegas. That would be so crazy. They fight out here in Vegas. They need to fight out here in Vegas. There's no other place where they should fight at the end of the day. You know what I'm saying? So hopefully they fight here in Vegas, man. I just can't wait till they release the...
The interviewer, likely aware of the stakes of such a bold opinion, pressed further. That's what's on the line with that fight, right, Canelo and Terence's? Whose era is it? At this point, Bernie stepped in, offering his perspective. "I think Canelo had his time. It's just going to be our time," he said with a smile. Keyshawn, showing support for his friend, added, For sure. Fans, who are no strangers to heated debates in the boxing world, were quick to react. While they were confident in Crawford, others were far less enthused. And that's when the criticisms came pouring in.
The announcement, for sure.
How difficult of a fight is that for Bud, and what does Bud have to do to win that fight?
He just got to be smart. He got to be smart, and I feel like he just got to beat Canelo to the punches, you know what I'm saying? Use his ability.
One user sarcastically posted, Canelo is going to pass the torch to a 37-year-old. While age doesn't automatically diminish a fighter's ability, it's worth noting that Canelo Alvarez is still at the top of his game. After all, boasting a record of February 2nd, 62 is not an easy feat. Some fans responded with more biting commentary, calling Keyshawn's take stupidity level 1000. This reaction likely stems from Canelo Alvarez's unmatched resume in boxing. The Mexican champion has accomplished what many believe to be impossible, including becoming the first undisputed super middleweight champion and defeating legends in multiple weight classes. One of the harshest criticisms came from a fan who pointed out that Terence Crawford had yet to demonstrate the same knockout power as Canelo.
his skill, his wisdom, you know what I'm saying? And just be smarter there, man. God willing, of course, you're going to come out and get the victory, man. And both guys going to go home, you know.
Canelo ain't passing the torch to a fighter who couldn't hurt a fighter with 10 fights or even drop him. Canelo dropped Munguia and Berlanga. Here the user pointed out Canelo's victories against Jaime Munguia for the International Boxing Federation, World Boxing Council and World Boxing Organization, World Super Middle titles, and Edgar Berlanga for the World Boxing Council and World Boxing Organization, World Super Middle titles. However, one must not forget Terence Crawford also stands at a record of 41-0, 31 KOs with continuous knockout victories for the past few years. Pass the torch? Another user asked. Bro, you gotta work on defense. You're getting hit too much in the head. A jab at Keyshawn's style seemed to strike a chord, as fans pointed out that Davis had yet to prove himself at the same level as Canelo Alvarez.
No major injuries and stuff like that at the end of the day. But I know Bud is gonna go in there and get the victory for sure.
Now, I'm sure you're not looking past Dennis Berinchik, obviously a very capable fighter, but...
That said, the 25-year-old is still early in his professional career and has a lot of time to refine his defensive skills. With a coach like Bomac on the side, Keyshawn's defense could improve drastically. The criticism didn't end there. Some took it a step further, joking about Keyshawn's appearance, writing, "Keyshawn looks like he could have $1 million and still stink. Ouch!" However, it's worth noting that these kinds of criticisms often reflect a broader frustration that fans may have with a fighter's public persona. Finally, fans brought up Terence Crawford's fight with Israel Madrimov, asking, what makes him think he's going to beat Canelo when he was struggling against Madrimov?
Hope it's not in Saudi, because I hate getting on long-ass flights. That's just me personally. I hope it's out here in Vegas. Bring that shit to Allegiant Stadium, man. Yeah.
Is that the biggest fight in boxing?
The comparison to his struggles with former contender Israel Madrimov seemed to be a heavy blow to Bud's credibility. The 4-division champion won the fight in a unanimous decision. However, it was indeed a hard-fought bout. Canelo, unified super middleweight world champion, had previously dismissed the call-out by his fellow 4-division titleist Crawford, who last fought at super welterweight. Enter Saudi Arabia's Turki Al-Sheikh, who appears to have made good progress in getting the bout made. Speaking in late 2023 to Fight Hub TV, veteran promoter Aram gave his former charge Crawford no chance due to the massive weight gap.
Hell yeah! Yes! What's bigger than that? Like, for real. Like, hell yeah, son. That's the biggest fight in boxing, for sure. For sure.
Tell me, when you hear everyone talk about the fight, the match...
I think Canelo wipes the floor with him. I love Crawford. I told you when Crawford was fighting Spence that Crawford would beat the hell out of him. But Canelo is a different proposition. It's an interesting fight, but I think there's only one winner. Canelo's used to fighting at a particular level, and I don't think that Terence can hurt Canelo, but Canelo can hurt Terence. However, more recently, Aram told Fight Hype that he can't count Crawford out even despite having to pack on 14 pounds for the challenge.
What's the biggest thing that you disagree with people on?
How much they count Terence out?
What's the thing that you hear the most? Oh, if Canelo hits him clean.
I wouldn't count Crawford out in any fight because Crawford has a unique talent. He's a great boxer puncher, and he is totally ambidextrous. So he drives his opponent crazy because the opponent trains to fight a right-handed fighter and ends up fighting a southpaw. That's what happened to Errol Spence. Spence trained to fight a right-handed fighter, and all he saw was a southpaw. I think Crawford is looking for Manny Pacquiao versus De La Hoya. Since his fight against Crawford last year, the Truth hasn't fought in over a year, even though a rumored fight against Sebastian Fundora is being negotiated for later this year.
Could happen. I mean, why not? If Crawford want to challenge himself to be great, let him try to be great, you know, so, you know what I'm saying, I'm with it. So.
Regardless, Spence actually had the opportunity to activate his rematch clause with Crawford, but chose not to. Whether it's because he needs more time to prepare for Crawford or has lost hope, Spence Jr. sure knows how formidable Terence Crawford is. When they face off in September, Shakur Stevenson thinks Terence Crawford will defeat Canelo Alvarez and can make it a very easy fight. Stevenson, the World Boxing Council lightweight champion, claims that for years he's been saying that Crawford will defeat Canelo.
It's mentally as strong as Terence Crawford, so I can't wait to watch it.
Your gym's an exciting gym. You all bounce off each other. You got a lot of light.
Crawford, the World Boxing Association champion in the 154-pound light middleweight division, has promised to put on 14 pounds to compete in the highly anticipated bout, which would probably be the highest-paying day of his career. Stevenson was sure in his response when asked if he believes Crawford will win that matchup. "I've been saying this for years now. I'm probably the first one that has been saying this, even before Terence is saying this. I always thought that his Crawford style versus Canelo. I think he beats Canelo," said Shakur Stevenson to Talk Sport Boxing. Shakur Stevenson makes it seem like Terence Crawford will stand toe-to-toe and trade blows with Canelo Alvarez in September. However, that scenario seems unlikely given Crawford's usual approach when facing powerful punchers.
Weight classes, he's a special fighter. Pound for pound, I think many will say #1 in the world, alongside the likes of people like yourself and that great list that we've got at the minute. Is he the man?
Well, he typically relies on movement, utilizing his jab and leaping into land shots before quickly repositioning. Crawford doesn't stay stationary or engage in relentless attacks. His aggressive performance against Errol Spence was more of an exception, largely because Spence wasn't at his best following his car accident. It would be a little over a year, 13 months. You gotta be very careful if you're going to take a fight above 160 pounds because it's a new weight range, said Chris Mannix on his YouTube channel about Terence Crawford taking a tune-up fight. It seems unlikely that Terence Crawford will take the risk of a tune-up fight against a super middleweight before facing Canelo Alvarez in September.
Beat Canelo.
Yes, honestly, if anybody could jump up in weight classes and do it, it's Terence Crawford. I don't know nobody who is.
If Crawford does compete in the weight class, it would probably be at a catch weight, potentially around 163 or 164 pounds against a middleweight moving up. And that's all for now. For the very best updates on news, moments, events, and actions in the world of boxing, stay connected with us by subscribing to our YouTube channel, and don't forget to turn on notifications to get notified when we drop quality contents like this. Until next time, peace out.